Hi, Redemption Hill kids. My name is Mary Campbell, and I'm going to tell you the Bible story for today. It is about Thomas, doubting Thomas. If you doubt somebody, it means you don't believe. You don't believe in what they're saying, or you don't believe something. So if I say I doubt that I can come, that means I probably won't come. Well, Thomas was doubting, but he was doubting Jesus. So let's start our story. All right, there were 3 days after Jesus died. And of course, what happened? 3 days after Jesus died, Jesus rose again. So he was real and he was alive. He was not a ghost. He was not a spirit. He was a real person just like you and me. Well, what happened was that the disciples did not know that Jesus had already risen. And they were very scared. They were so scared. They were like, I'm so scared. But they went to a house that had an upstairs room. It was a house kind of like this. In those days, the houses were very square. And it had an outside stairs that went to the second floor. So they were in the second floor. And you can see they were afraid. Some of them were crying. Some of them were crying. Some of them were praying. But they missed Jesus so much. They all missed Jesus, and they wondered where he was. They had been with him for 3 years, every day for 3 years. One of the disciples was not able to come. He stayed at home, or he had to do something else. We don't know. So there were 12 disciples, but there were only 11 disciples in the upstairs room. The room wasn't very big, but there were 11 disciples and also some other friends of Jesus. So they were all there and they were sad. They missed Jesus. They didn't know that he had already come alive again. Some of them were talking together. Some of them were crying together. Some of them were just sitting alone, so sad. When they came in, this is where the door, where the door was. They closed the door and they locked it. They locked that door. They didn't want anybody else to come in. They were afraid that the same people who killed Jesus would also kill them. So some of them were very, very afraid. Ooh. What if the soldiers come and get us? What if they come and kill us? Where is Jesus? He always helped us. Some people were just so sad they couldn't say anything. Then, right in the middle of the room, even though the door was locked, came Jesus. And he said, "Don't be afraid. I'm alive again." And then they were so happy they stopped crying. They were so happy. Well, some of them cried because they were happy. They cried. Some of them were like, "Oh my goodness, yay!" They all immediately saw that Jesus had come back. He was alive again. Everything was going to be okay. They said, "Oh, can we see the holes in your hands?" So Jesus showed them. There were holes in his hands where the nails were. "Can we see your feet where the nails were?" He said, "Yes." And he showed them. And then he showed them he had a cut on his side. They knew that all those things had happened to Jesus. But he became alive again, just like he said, in 3 days. They were so excited. Jesus helped them see how they could read the Bible. And he showed them how to read the Bible and how they could understand it. They couldn't understand it before. But now Jesus gave them eyes and a brain to understand the Bible. And they were like, "Oh, look at these wonderful words about God." All their eyes could see all the wonderful things Jesus and God had put into the Bible. They were so excited. Then Jesus left. He just disappeared, just like he came in, not through the door. He didn't unlock the door. The door was still locked. So the disciples were so excited. They were just praying and reading the scripture and they were so excited that Jesus had come back, and they actually saw him. Actually, more than 500 people saw Jesus when he came back and was alive. But there was one person that did not see Jesus. And he was one of the disciples, and his name was Thomas. If you have that name now, we shorten that name. We call people who have the long name of Thomas, we call them Tom. Thomas was sad. He had missed seeing Jesus, but also he was shaking his head. He said, "Nope, I don't believe you saw Jesus. I won't believe it was really Jesus unless I can touch his hands and see the holes in his hands and the holes in his feet where the nails were. And unless I see that, I will not believe that Jesus came back alive." Well, they went back up they kept meeting in the room upstairs. And the next time that they met in the room, Jesus came again. And he had a cut on his side, and he had nails in his feet, and he had nails in his hands. And Thomas saw him. And Thomas said, "Jesus, I wasn't going to believe that you were alive again unless I saw the holes in your hands and the holes in your feet." So Thomas touched the holes in Jesus' hands, and he touched the holes in Jesus' feet. And then he said, "Lord and God." And you know what he did? He kneeled down and he praised the Lord. And he was happy because he had seen Jesus. He said, "Lord and God." He knew that Jesus was Lord and God. And Thomas believed. Thomas was so excited. He said, and you know what? Jesus did not even scold him for not believing. He was just glad that Thomas believed in him again. And today we have a choice. We have a choice. Do we believe in Jesus? Are we going to get to see the hands in his holes in his hands or the holes in his feet? No. But many of you already believe in Jesus without seeing the holes in his hands or his feet. And Jesus said, blessed are those who believe and haven't seen. And that's us. Those of us who believe in Jesus, but we haven't seen the holes in his hands or his feet or the cut on his side. But now Thomas believed too, and he was excited. And Jesus gave him the ability to read the Bible and understand in his head what the Bible said, just like he did with the rest of the disciples. Today, I hope that you believe in Jesus, even though you haven't seen the holes in his hands or the holes in his feet.